Congratulations, you have just found the entry to the Magical Mystery Tour. I'm going to take you to a really wild journey across the globe, and we are going to explore three very special preamplifiers. And one of them is from China, another one from Korea, and the third from Japan. So we are going to travel the east. And number one, I have picked the Holo Audio Serene preamplifier, which was reviewed or introduced by Herb Reichert in Gramophone Dreams Stereophile, and I am looking at it because it was commented in one of my videos for the preamplifier week about this preamplifier that Herb Reichert reviewed, and he found that it worked very nicely in a condo system, so using a condo amplifier. So let's look at the insides, what makes this preamplifier tick, and why can it be a nice addition to a system. And let's look at what are the strengths, what are the potential weaknesses of it based on how the parts look on the inside and the build quality, and a few more things. So this is where we are going to start. So we are going to start in China. I think this company is a Chinese company. Please correct me if I am wrong. And going to the kitsunehifi.com's website, this is where we can find this preamplifier, and you see it's not exactly a cheap preamplifier, but when we look what's inside, this is the insides of the preamplifier, and that's what I'm going to comment about. So let's start with the power supply. So the power supply is pretty much like it doesn't have any special elements inside. When you go, my cats are playing, that's that big noise from the kitchen. So here you can see it has two transformers inside. It has as a toroid transformer and one that's called an O-core transformer, and it looks like a potted transformer. So this is plastic, and inside there's a transformer. And usually when you see that, these potted plastic things are cheaper grade stuff. So they are much cheaper to buy than higher quality transformers. So as you have seen on that price, it's about like a $3,000 figure approximately, and they have put in, when we go later on the signal path, they have put in a lot of expensive components, and to be able to sell it for so cheap, they have to somehow cut corners. And one of these cutting corners is with the transformers. However, they have done it in a very intelligent fashion. So they use two separate power transformers, and that's something excellent, and that's what you start to see when you are using multiple transformers to feed different parts of the circuit. Then you are getting a much more potential out of the unit compared to just one single transformer feeding everything. So having two transformers, that's a big step up from most stuff that you can buy. However, these are not the highest grade, highest quality transformers. So when you go for more expensive preamplifiers, that's where you can see big changes happening, that you will see more elaborate, more heavy duty power transformers. So what else do we see? We have voltage switches, because as you see, this transformer can be configured for either 115 or 230 volt input, and with those switches you can switch internally, so better what part of the world you are using. Apparently this has a universal power supply, and where you see these switches, I don't think they are very high quality switches, and there's some basic relays that probably are there, not probably, they are there, so that this unit can be remote controlled and power on and off, and those things, really, this and that, those are two relays, they really take away from the sound quality, from the potential of the unit. So these guys here that you see, these two switches and those two relays, they kind of hamstring the potential of this unit, just as the fast connectors here, that thing and that thing. So if you get rid of those and just hardwire without those fast connectors, that you are going to see a noticeable jump up in sound quality. Also here, same thing, very molded IEC inlet, and there's a hard switch there and probably a fuse in there as well. If you change that to higher quality parts, again, a significant increase in sound quality. However, it seems that they have some this is it's better than a basic wire, so they have done at least a good job there, that they don't use bare bones basic wires to hook up the transformers. However, these look like really generic wires running from this cheaper grade toroid, and these are really junk, so you can, although it's kind of harder to tell. Anyway, maybe they are better grade, but I don't expect, based on the looks, how it looks like. Probably this is really standard, really basic stuff, and a little bit below the weight. So what you can change for yourself, if you change these parts, you can change a major, I mean, you can observe a major upgrade in the sound. Again, cheesy connector there. It's not their fault. It's there so that you can really, when you assemble the unit, you can just slap in the circuit boards, fast connect them, and you are ready to go. And this, nowadays, the economic model of Chinese companies is that they don't have that traditional warranty support that we are used to from US and European and Japanese made products, that when you have problem with your unit, you send it back for repairs. Instead, as you see, you see these modules there. Everything is modular, even the transformers are modular, even this power supply module is modular. So if something is wrong there, you just swap a module and then you are done with it. However, I don't know how that works out on the consumer side. Supposedly, this is what I heard from several Chinese companies as a feedback from users, that you can call them up and they troubleshoot you and try to find out what's wrong, and if you can, or they can identify which board become defective, then they send you the board and the instructions to unscrew those screws, disconnect those things, those fast connectors, put in the new one, screw it in, and reconnect the fast connectors. So those things are there so that you can fix it yourself if something goes wrong. Or, yep, so that's about it. However, what these fast connectors also do is that they are the Achilles heel of this unit. Now let's see, moving along from the power supply here I see that here this transformer gives the signal through that wire. It looks like that, well, yep, it has two 7 volts outputs and it's going through there. That's really low quality, low grade stuff. So if you change that, that's like major improvement. Anyway, looking here at the signal section, here you have the input and the output connectors balanced and single-ended RCA jacks. And as you see, though, they are all circuit board surface mount units. Yeah, you can do much better than these. You see all of these plastic bakelite stuff in the end. That these are okay connectors, not bad, but you could do better than this, and that would upgrade the sound quite a bit again. Now looking at the circuit board, so as you see, this is a solid state unit, and you see really busy boards there with a myriad of components. This part here looks like this is part of the power supply, so you have stabilization going on and filtering for the to have a nice filtered, smooth, regulated DC. There's some chip there probably that's helping with integrating your remote control and everything to work nicely with your unit. And as you see, there are these big ones are the big power supply capacitors. Those are the main reservoirs for some of the power supplies. Here we see it again happening with different capacitors, and you see here those are the Mundorf gold capacitors. Those are really expensive capacitors. They are using them probably as bypass capacitors for these big boys. So what it does is that these are not so good sound quality by themselves, and they are using those high quality foil capacitors to bypass them and improve their sound. And I think that they don't mention what brand these capacitors are. They mention that they have some Kaisei capacitors, Audionaut Kaisei. It's these two guys and those two guys. Those are Kaiseis. They have Elna mix. Those are Elna mix in there. And it also says it has Nichicon muses. I think those might be the muses there. And these to me, they are not named in the brochure. They are plain Nichicon capacitors. I would urge everyone to go with something better than that. But these are to me in this part of the circuit which are kind of downgrading the sound. They give it more of a generic sound quality, and if you get better capacitors in there, that will give you a better spatiality and a more balanced, more natural sound, and take it towards a less mechanical character. These capacitors here, they are not mentioned in the brochure. They look like DC link capacitors that I'm recommending to everyone, which are film capacitors, plastic film capacitors. They are very good and very cheap capacitors, and however the majority of the audio world is not really using them. I'm really glad that these guys start to use them, and it's really to the benefit of the circuit, and helps to maintain a low price or a lower price for this unit. You would think that $3,000 is a bucket load of money, but yes, it would be much more if they used something else there, or if they use some plain Jane stuff, then the sound would not be what you are getting. So big applause for these guys who designed this preamplifier for using those capacitors. It's something that very few folks know about, and who use, they reap huge benefits. So I don't have a doubt that part of the success of the sound of this unit are those nice buggers there. So what else do they have? They have Holo Audio, so it's their own branding. So they have made that capacitor themselves, and it's a 1 microfarad 1000 volt rated capacitor. So it looks like probably they might be using it for either coupling capacitor duty. When you see big capacitors like that, that's because they use those kinds for coupling coupling duty to pass signal through them. That's where you need really high quality stuff, and then maybe they might be using the Mundorfs as well to pass signal, but based on their location, it's more likely that they are part of the power supply. So I haven't seen the schematics for this unit, so I can't tell where exactly they are, but based on the physical location, they are most likely part of the power supply. So what else can I say? So I think this is a pretty well thought out unit. If you are into DIYing and you are not afraid to take matters into your own hands, then you can really elevate this unit to an even higher, much higher level than what it is right now by changing these capacitors there and also upgrading this part, and just getting rid of all the fast connectors and I'm not saying cheesy connectors, but they are standard connectors and everyone's using that, but then it will become a hassle if you put some dedicated connectors, because it doesn't connect to the board directly. You have to wire it up yourself. So what you will be putting on is a tremendous amount of work, but it will translate to tremendous benefits. And you can have a unit that is one league higher than this if you start tweaking it and doing these things. And so now let's go for our second unit. Now let's go to Korea to have a look at the Allnic L-10000. This costs about 10 times what this unit cost. And now the time is up, so we are going to take a look at the next video after a short break. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.